So today, another problem. Gemma, what are we going to learn about?
So today, Malcolm, we're going to look at horses that are aversive to clipping.
Right.
And what normally happens is you turn the clippers on, you approach the horse steps away, and people turn the clippers off. And what that does is that actually trains the behaviour of moving away. Horses learn through release of pressure. So if they move away and the clippers turn off, that's what they'll offer next time, and they'll become more and more fearful.
Right.
So to train the behaviour correctly, we might start off standing still, turn the clippers on, and if the horse doesn't move, turn the clippers off again before the horse moves. And that way we're starting to train standing still to make the clippers go away rather than trying to get away from the clippers. And then we might start off a little bit closer to the horse, turn them on, just wait, turn them off again, and take a step back. And then again, obviously each time we're making it a little bit harder, but we're monitoring the horse's response, turn them on, wait, turn them off. And then you may get to the stage where you can actually be quite close to the horse. It helps give them a bit of a scratch first, turn them on, just give her a second. If she moves, I'll let her move, and then as soon as she goes to stand still, don't let her bum come round. As soon as she stands still, step back and take them away again. So if she goes to move round, I want you to get her to take a step backwards, because that's going to keep the hindquarters going away from us. And you'll notice that we're both stood on the same side of the horse, which makes it a lot safer. So again, give her a little bit of a scratch, turn the clippers on and turn them off before she moved. So that time we were rewarded standing still before she got too worried about it. Again, give her a little bit of a scratch, turn them on and turn them off.
So you're using turning off the clippers as a reward for her doing the right thing?
Absolutely.
Right.
And I'll step away each time as well, which makes it easier for her. And then when she gets a bit more confident, I might have the clips a little bit closer. Then again a little bit closer. And you can see now she's actually looked round at us. Now she's just a little bit more confident than she was before.
It's worth saying this pony's been really difficult to clip in the past, and although she's only a small pony, we've got hard hats on because she has been a real problem.
And notice that I'm ignoring the behaviour with the head. I'm not going to tell her off for anything. That's just more likely to make her anxious. If it's too much, then, you know, if she was going to kick or rear or anything, obviously we would have to get more control. But at the minute, if she's just going to pull faces, we can cope with that a little bit. So this is a process that we call shaping. And this is where you break down the final behaviour that you want into lots of little steps. And each time you just make each step a little bit harder than the last. And one of the key things is that if I did too much with her, if I did too much and she got too fearful, then I would go back and I would repeat the steps earlier on again.
What things would make you stop and say we've done enough today?
So I think generally I'd never do more than about half an hour, 45 minutes maximum with a horse. But with most horses, as you can see, you're probably looking at just a few minutes until you can get the right response. The other time to think about stopping is if it's becoming dangerous. And if it's becoming dangerous, if the horse is getting more anxious, if the horse can't stand still, that's a real key that things are not going very well. If they're moving around and fidgeting quite a lot, then you need to slow things down. And if things still aren't working, then you probably need to stop completely. And you might need to think about getting some help from more of a professional.
What about using a twitch? Is that an appropriate thing for clipping?
So personally, I wouldn't use a twitch for clipping because it's really quick and easy to get horses used to having clippers, certainly on the body. I think a twitch is great for an emergency situation. So if your vet comes out and your horse is injured and they need to be able to use it for that. But if you use them for everything, then horses become more and more aversive to having a twitch on. And it doesn't work as effectively with them.
So for you, the use of a twitch is great, but only for emergency things, not in everyday use?
Yeah, I think certainly from a horse owner, I can't think of anything that I would need to use a twitch for. Things like clipping are generally an elective procedure. You can decide when and where you're going to clip the horse, and you've got time to practice before you need to do. I think there are times when vets come out, maybe they want to pass a stomach tube if your horse has colic, maybe they want to pass an endoscope to look at respiratory disease problems. There are a few times when I think it's appropriate for a vet to use a twitch.
Okay. And the thing with clipping is that so many people want to clip their horse, and we see people and horses get injured through clipping. So to me, this sort of process takes a bit of time, but is really worthwhile and useful.
Yeah, and again, you can see we've only been here a few minutes now, and she's now accepting the clippers on her body much more calmly. She doesn't feel the need to move away from them. And that's because I remove the clippers for her standing still. If she was to move, I would just quietly keep the clippers in contact with her, and then again, as soon as she stood still, I would step away again and take them off.
And what about the process of actually moving from touching her to clipping her?
So that's a really good point. And what I would say is I would advise all horse owners that you have at least 3 sessions whereby you can run the clippers all over the horse's body, and you'll notice I'm using the battery side of the clippers, so I've not got the blades on at the minute, but run them in that direction and against the coat. And once you have 3 sessions where you can touch them anywhere on the body that you want to clip, and the horse is stood fairly calm and relaxed like this, then you're probably fine to go ahead and clip them.
So presumably this is useful just in terms generally of your horse trusting you to do things and getting a good relationship.
Yep, absolutely. And you can see she gets more nervous when I come up to her head, so I just wait where I am, and then when she stands still, take it back down away from her head again, or even take it off completely.
That's great. This pony has been really difficult to clip previously, has been dangerous. We've only been here a matter of minutes, and I think you've achieved an awful lot. And these are the sort of techniques that anybody could do if they just persevere and take their time.
Yep, take your time. I think the key take-home messages for something like this is that you don't remove the clippers if they get anxious. You remove them as soon as the horse stands still and is relaxed. But you start off really, really easy, so the horse doesn't feel the need to get anxious. And then you slowly increase what you're asking each time. If the horse does get a bit nervous, go back to where it was working well and do a few repetitions there before you move on.
Yeah, I've definitely done the thing where we switch the clippers off when the horse gets too nervous, thereby rewarding that behaviour. So I've learned a lot. Thanks.
No problems. Thank you.